What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a bunch of exciting, fun One Piece stuff that we need to have a little bit of a look at. A bunch of cards that you should be taking a look at and going, hang on a second, I'm a little bit jealous, I want them. Well, I can at least tell you how to get them, although I warn you, some of them are a little bit easier than others. Starting off with the new V-Jump promo. Technically, it's the October issue of V-Jump, even though it's out now. And yeah, I know that's annoying and confusing, and I can only apologize, but it's the October issue of V-Jump. And it does come with a bunch of cool stuff, including a Dragon Ball Fusion World promo. But for our purposes, the thing we're most excited about is that it comes with a Dracul Mihawk promo. And like I've said, this issue is now out. It is on the shelves. I've bought my copy. So, you know, seems a little bit rude if I don't tell you all about it. And my apologies, I probably should have told you about this card earlier. But there's been a lot going on with all of the One Piece stuff lately. So you'll have to take my apologies for that. But we got ourselves a Dracul Mihawk, and it's not that bad. 4 cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and we've got activate main, return this card to your hand. If you have 3 or more cross-skilled characters on the field, play a 5 cost cross-skilled card from your hand. Okay, that's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. That's not bad at all. Essentially, you play a 4 cost, and it's still a 4 cost 5k. It's still a decent body on the board. You can still get some stuff done with that. But then you can essentially swap it for a 5 cost. And this all becomes very important, because like, for instance, take the new Buggy. Now, the new Buggy is actually a really good card. We like the new Buggy. The new Buggy is extremely cool. But it's also extremely awkward. I'm talking about the Buggy character, the one that comes around as a manga rare. And actually, it's available as both a manga rare and as a wanted poster. So if you want cool versions of this Buggy, I've got wonderful news for you. Yeah, there's some cool versions of this character. And it's got a really good skill whereby when you play it, you get to put one of your opponent's characters to the bottom of their deck. And it is any of their characters, no restrictions. Any character, bottom of the deck, job's a good one. But if you don't have 5 cost or higher characters in play, then you have to put this character to the bottom of your deck after you do that. And that is, shall we say, a less than ideal scenario. And look, we've got Leader Buggy, where you can basically pay 5 Don to pay a more than 5 cost, which is obviously a very good thing. And we've got the Crocodile, who's a 7 cost, but when you play it, you can play a 5 cost or lower cross-skilled or Baroque's work character from your hand. So we've got ways to get extra characters into play, and this is basically another way of doing so. It's a way of having a 5 cost on the board while only paying 4 Don. And again, Buggy is a phenomenal character, and obviously it's not just the skill, it's the fact that when you play Buggy, you've got a 10 cost 12k body on the board, except you're probably not paying 10 for it, you're probably trying to play it with the leader skill, so you're paying it as a 5 cost, but you need to have 5 costs on the board, including Buggy, in order to actually keep it on the board. So what we're looking for, if we're playing this cross-skilled deck, we're looking at a bunch of different ways to get as fast as we can 5 cost bodies on the board. That's what we're going for here. And this is a card that's going to allow you to do it. And again, we can't ever say with certainty until it's actually out. But I'm hearing whispers of Buggy being a decent deck. And I'm just telling you right now, I think this Mihawk could be good. I'm not saying or guaranteeing or anything stupid like that this Mihawk is all of a sudden going to be like a staple card in every cross-skilled deck. I'm not saying that because I don't know if that's true. But I absolutely am saying that in a cross-skilled deck, you really need to be getting the big Buggy out. And I'm telling you that this is a way to play a 5 cost for 4 Don. And sure, you got to have 3 cross-skilled characters out and all of that, and it's not perfect by any stretch, but it's a way to get your Buggy out a little bit faster. I'm just telling you I like this card. I think this card is pretty good. I think there is a lot of potential with this card. So, yeah. You've been warned, ladies and gentlemen. You've been warned. It's in the new V-Jump, and there's other promos in there as well. So, maybe this is one to go for sooner rather than later. As always, yes, it's going to be getting an English release. The promos always get an English release. It's going to be in some kind of promo pack or tournament pack at some point. We just don't actually know which one. Sorry about that. Now, a card that we do have a very nice look at, which is also cross-skilled, we've got ourselves a new Crocodile. Now, this is coming in Psycho Jump, and what's kind of annoying is we don't have a look at the cover yet. The magazine's out in 2 days. It's literally out on the 4th of September. You would think by now we'd have a look at the cover, but now I've got this on pre-order on Amazon Japan because, you know, it's got a One Piece promo in. But as it stands at the moment, the official Twitter, Amazon listings, I can't show you the cover. And showing you the cover is important because it shows you what magazine you need to go and buy in order to get the promo. But unfortunately, right now, I can't show you, and I'm sorry. But we've got ourselves a new Crocodile, and it's a cross-skilled. Is it any good? Well, starting off, one thing that's really important here, it's a 5-cost. And remember, you can play a 5-cost using Dracula Mihawk, and you need 5-cost or above in order to keep Buggy on the board, and you can play 5-cost for free using the Crocodile from the set. So, genuinely, the fact that it's a 5-cost is a really big deal, and also not a coincidence. These cards, they really rely on the whole 5-cost thing. What does it do? 5-cost, 7,000 power, no counter. But on your turn, and it has to be your turn, not your opponent's, when you play this card, if your leader is either cross-skilled or Baroque Works, but we're probably looking at this in a Buggy deck, let's be honest with you, you get to take a 2,000 power or lower character from your opponent and put it at the bottom of their deck. It's alright. It's not perfect by any stretch, but you've got a 7k body. 5-cost 7k is good. You lose the counter to gain the skill. 5-cost 7,000 power, counter plus 1,000 is your standard generic card. And then you get to put a 2,000 power or less at the bottom of your opponent's deck. And like, yeah, it's not terrible. I think the Mihawk is a better card in Buggy decks, don't get me wrong. But I think it's a decent skill, and again, the fact that it can be played with the Mihawk I just showed you, the fact that it can be played with the Crocodile from the set, and the fact that it works for keeping Buggy on the board, all help massively. And if nothing else, it's a 7k body that meets all of those conditions. That's not too bad. Add in the skill as well, and this looks pretty good. I'm slightly worried that Buggy looks like a viable deck and these look like cards that could... I'm not saying they're necessarily staples, although the Mihawk does look really good. But I'm a little worried that they could end up being good and go in the deck, and then we've got magazine promos that are actually playable. And in Japan, it's less of an issue, as long as you go out and buy the magazine when it comes out. But if they end up being awkward promos, that could be a little bit awkward. You have been warned. But there are two other cards that we need to have a little bit of a look at here. And what we've got are a couple new prize cards. These are going to be given out at flagship battles. And we've got ourselves an Uta from OP09 and a Jack from OP08. Now, Jack is available to the top 8 players, although that's assuming a 32-person tournament. If it's a 64-person tournament, which some of them are, then double the number of players, double the number of prize cards. Top 16 players will get a copy of this Jack. And it is the Jack from OP08, which frankly looks alright. It's the one that gets a permanent +4 cost, just making it much harder to remove of all of those cards that try and lower cost, which is good. And it's got an activate main, rest this character, draw 1, trash 1, and KO a free cost or less. Pretty good, pretty powerful card in black. We like it very much indeed. That's what you get for top 8. But if you win, or if it's a 64-person tournament, if you get first or second, you get an Uta. And I'm weirded out by this card because it doesn't look like a card. I don't know what it is. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with me or whether I'm just being an idiot here. But we have an expectation of what cards look like. This just looks like a random picture with a frame around it, and it's a lovely picture, and I think the artwork is lovely, but it doesn't really look like a card. It looks like a scene with a card frame rather than actually looking like a card. Is there anyone else that knows what I'm talking about here, or am I just talking rubbish? I'm not sure. But it is a new Uta from OP09, and it is essentially it's your generic searcher for red-haired Shanks decks. And there is an alternate art in OP09 as well. It is the on-play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a red-haired pirates, and put it into your hand, and then put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. As I told you last time we talked about this card, doesn't actually say red-haired pirates card other than Uta, but it's because Uta isn't actually a red-haired pirates card. None of the ones that have been released so far have been, so they don't need to accept it, because the fact that Uta isn't a red-haired pirates accepts it on its own. There we go. And these are cool new prize cards. And you know the deal, they're in Japan at the moment, but inevitably, at some point in the not too distant future, we're going to get our versions of these flagship battles. And when we do get our versions of these flagship battles, then yes, we are going to get these prize cards coming in here as well, which is lovely. So I suppose this is the point where you tell me how much you'd like to win these particular cards. For me, I'm actually more excited about the magazine promos right now. I think these are a good pair of magazine promos. And look, this is what Japan tends to do with their magazine promos. It's not hidden or secret or anything like that. They tend to release magazine promos which very clearly and obviously match up with recently released leaders. OP09 has literally just come out. So we have a couple of magazine promos that work with the buggy leader from OP09. This is a very standard thing that Japan tends to do. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually love it and I'm a big fan. And I think there might be something there with that buggy deck. And I think if there is, we might have a couple of magazine promos that really kind of need to be played, or at least, maybe not need to be played, but are very viable in that deck. And that makes things very interesting indeed. For now, I want to know your thoughts on the prize cards and on the magazine promos. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.